Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Unfortunately, our host can't make it due to logistical challenges, so I thought I would just step in. Um, this is not fully planned, but we'll just make the most out of it. Um, I'm Sander from Nedap. Jakub was with me from Bestseller. Um, Instead of having like a general introduction, let's just start with quick fire questions that we prepared. Um, let's just a couple of quick questions to get to know you, Jacob. Online or in-store shopping?
Hello, Sander. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, well, clearly in store, and obviously, I would say I love the part of going into a shop. Obviously, also due to what I do, look at how is the shop looking, how is the things presented, and the touch and feel experience is something you just don't get on an online shop.
Yeah. I agree. I also still prefer, especially if you have like large shoes or large feet, you just want to check those shoes, for example, in store. Anyway, and what is your favorite part of working in retail tech?
Yeah, it's something between what I would say dynamic slash chaos. So working with retail means that a lot of things shifts all the time. Sometimes we work on long-term projects. Other times we are putting out fires. And in the end, whatever we do in tech retail, it's a matter about how do we serve our consumers. So we have really real people in the end, which are not a part of our company, where we try to provide the best service for them via our shop personnel. So yeah, dynamic chaos.
Yeah. And I know your answer on this one already because we checked in on this one yesterday. So what if you could take anything in your life with RFID, what would that be?
Yeah, but yeah, clearly my kids. But actually, I have been thinking a bit more about it since we talked about yesterday. My daughter, she rides a pony, and on weekends she will go out to the stables, and she'll be there for 10, 12 hours. And typically, she will leave her phone somewhere. So I would love to have an event log of, okay, she went out through this gate. Now she's riding. Now she's back, to kind of having a feeling about, is everything all right, or should I intervene somehow?
Yeah, like I get that. Another one that we often hear is car keys, but I think keys are the kids are even more valuable to keep track of. Um, so let's just look a bit into bestseller. Like I think a lot of people who are joining us know you guys. Obviously, you have several brands that are part of bestseller. Could you just tell me a bit about your customers? Yeah, general information about bestseller.
Yes. So in general, we are a fast fashion company and see ourselves as value for money fashion apparel. Around 3,000 stores across the globe, mainly centered around Europe. Our customers, but it's someone that wants fashionable apparel for a reasonable price, and also basic things which we all need. And you can say, due to the quality we provide for the price, it's something where they kind of remember, okay, that actually worked out quite nice for me. I can go and buy that piece again. And hopefully, you can say, when we have these customers coming in, buying the basic things, the never out of stock things, they also get inspired by some of the fashion articles we have in our shops and pick up these.
Yeah. And is there anything very specific about like how they shop also? Like, is there anything that you would say like, oh, that's typical, like the bestseller shopper? Or
I would actually not say so, because back to having seven brands running retail, we basically cover everything from kids to young teenagers to mature people, even pregnant women. So we're covering everything, and our hope is that when people think about our shops, is that okay, I go into this Jane Jones, you will also have female apparel, or close by I will have a different shop. But obviously, what we're fully aware of is that especially out in Europe, many customers are not aware of what BESTSELLER is, so they know our spy brand, and they don't necessarily know that these brands are connected to each other anyway.
No. And so, like being a retailer that's scaling, like why is full inventory visibility crucial to your organization, you would say?
Yeah, but I think everybody who listens and know a bit about fashion retailing, then in generally inventory accuracy in a normal shop where we scan barcodes, whether that's 6 times a year, 2 times a year, 1 time a year, is not really high. And due to that, we work in seasons. So once in a while, we need to empty the store and then we need to fill up with new things. It's quite important to understand, but what do we actually have in our stores in regards to how much never out of stock we need to refill, how did the trendy things sales compared to other things. And in general, when we talk about the journey of omni-channel, we also want to provide some features for our customers where they can go in on a website and actually see, okay, the item you're looking at is actually available in a shop nearby, rather than we think it's available or we actually don't show it if it's less than 2 pieces, because then we are uncertain whether it's actually there or not.
And now let's I think it's good to dive a bit into your inventory intelligence journey so far. So if you look at prior to working with RFID, what were the challenges that you encountered back then?
I will say that way that at BESTSELLER, we've obviously monitored the development of RFID within our industry for quite some time. And when we decided to go into a project in 2017, I wouldn't actually say that we had any specific challenges. We just understood that this technology can bring us some benefits, which we believe will change the way we do business for fashion. So it was not necessarily that there were some pain points we needed to remove. It was more about that, okay, we see this and we believe it will bring a lot of benefits for us.
Yeah. And I can imagine it's not just a choice that you make and that it's just Jakub is going to arrange everything. Could you tell us a bit how you approach such a project? What kind of people do you bring together? And
Yeah, sure.
anything you can share on that?
Obviously, in BESTSELLER, as mentioned before, we have 7 brands which are doing retailing. So from a tech point of view, I serve all of these brands, and we needed to find somebody who actually wanted to join the RFID journey. Back in 2017, it was Vero Moda said, okay, we see benefits in this. We are willing to invest in tagging up our apparel to do this. And basically what we did was we called a few people we have met on different fairs, looking up internet, saying, guys, could you come by our office and tell us how a proof of concept with RFID could look in BESTSELLER? And that's how it started. And to be really honest, we did a trip to see with one of these vendors a different retailer who did RFID, and from a technology point of view, this is easy, right? You pull a trigger on a RFID reader and it scans some RFID tags. So it was a quite easy decision to start moving on and gaining our own experience on, okay, what's in it, what is actually difficult, what's not. So I think that the overall group of people which were involved in setting off a proof of concept of RFID, we were not that many actually.
No. And what I understood is also in this process, obviously, guys, you select in the end, you select a vendor, but you've shifted that along the way. Could you perhaps share something about that and how you ended up with Nedap?
Yeah, sure. So initially, when we started out with the POC, we had a few RFID players on the table, and we choose a company which we had a good chemistry with. We had a good gut feeling about, okay, this is going to work out really nice. we did the POC. We agreed on, okay, RFID is something we want to have in all of our Moda shops, and we made a tender for the RFID software. That point of time, Nedap actually went head to head with the vendor we chose, but we stick with the vendor who did the POC for us for quite some years. That worked really well. But in Bestseller, when we do these projects, it's a matter about that we want to basically do a partnership with our vendors. So we ensure that the future years we're working together towards that. Our journey is better. You can say the benefits of the companies provide us more things, and obviously we are basically buying more licenses or whatever it is. So at some point on our RFID journey with the first vendor, we came to the conclusion that okay, we don't feel this partnership anymore. And we know about Nedap, and we've obviously looked a bit into that. Okay, they were also growing a lot within the fashion industry. So it was kind of a no-brainer to kind of reach out and say, okay, guys, where are you? And we are in this situation and we are actually not super happy. So will you be willing to basically take over us as account and, provide us with that partnership, which we lost down the road with a different vendor?
Yeah, I like that word partnership that you mentioned, like more of a strategic partner versus just a vendor. Like, is there anything specific that in that relationship, like while you were building that with Nedap, that you especially valued there?
But I think this is a matter of a little bit back to the chemistry thing. So when we meet, we want to meet with the right persons, right? And we want to feel that the persons who are in meetings with us, whether that's online or in person in our office, that these people are actually providing value to us. It's not a meeting where we sit 20 people around the table and then there's one guy online actually telling us what to do. And I think with Nedap, they provided us with the right specialists. We had an extremely good dialogue. Obviously, being already an RFID customer, that gave us a lot of insight in, okay, what processes do we need to follow? We probably spent more time on looking on the user interface of the Nedap software than a new customer will do, because we wanted to see, okay, what are the differences? Is this better? Is this worse? And how easy will it be for the shops to adapt to a new software, even though they understand the processes of what do we do with RFID. But I think, having the right team and feeling that you are heard and seeing that over time, what you are telling them needs perhaps slight change is actually happening.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that additional information. And what really struck me about your story is that you kind of defined one key KPI to measure success for the entire project, right? Could you share something about that?
Yeah, sure. So obviously this is during the proof of concept, right, where we kind of needed to determine, okay, so is there any return of investment on this RFID thing? So is it just super smart and cool for the shop employees, but that's it? Obviously, and that's also what Nedap will tell you, there's plenty of different KPIs you can utilize. From our end, you had basically the inventory availability or inventory accuracy, which is a KPI where you basically see how well are you performing your RFID tasks. But in our end, we actually went down with looking really much into the on-shelf availability, because if you have a high inventory accuracy, you are then able to do proper replenishment from back office to shop floor. And what we could measure is that with a high on-shelf availability, we simply saw that we have an increase in our turnover. That was the only KPI we focused on, because that was something when we saw money coming back. Fully aware of that there were plenty of other KPIs we could have put into that equation and saying, okay, how much time do we save on shop clerks doing inventory counts and other things. But we kind of said, okay, let's just go for this one Northern Star, and that is what we will measure this on.
Yeah, that's nice. And like with this Northern Star, like could you share something about the results? Like, what did you see? Were there other results or like non-tangible results, perhaps like how employees reacted? Or yeah, curious to hear more on that.
I think retail is extremely extremely industry where we compete against each other, and that's also what we saw in our shop. So you can say one thing is that we want this high on-shelf availability. That means we need some proper inventory counts. Obviously, when we started, we had this approach of we did a snapshot of our RFID every day. Then we did the replenishment from back office, and then we kind of forgot about RFID until the next day. What we saw quite early in our journey was that the shops started to compete against each other. So saying that, okay, how high up can we get the inventory accuracy on how little time? So we had store managers running around in the shop, scanning the goods while they were doing meetings. And this was kind of like a fact of saying, okay, see how great we do this. And if you continually do this over time, then you also learn, okay, where in the store are the more difficult areas to scan, and where can I basically just run through, and it all works out. That was actually quite funny to see. And I think especially with the Nedap application, what we also learn is that the ease of use. So in retail, in the fashion industry, we see quite high turnover of employees. One thing is that you understand the basics of RFID and you understand the gains of it. But another thing is that when a new employee starts, how difficult is it to teach them how to use the device, how to use the application? And that is also something with the ID Cloud product we have seen. That's super simple, right? You have a few buttons you need to press. You actually need to focus only on a few buttons. Then you are going.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that employee experience touch that you had, like that it also became some sort of battle between the two. And I like that. I like that. Did you also like use those stories then to also engage the stores that weren't as engaged as others?
Yeah, but it comes down to that they need to understand the purpose of this, and within retail everybody understands turnover. Okay, higher turnover. Okay, let's do this, and obviously from area to area, from location to location, it can vary, but in general, the brands are following up on their stores, on the areas, and if somebody we see are kind of not doing what we thought they should do and not doing as great as some other areas, then we try to help each other. It is quite standardized, I think, within the RFID that the way we roll it out is with what we call RFID captains. And if a captain can see, okay, in one area we are doing better than another one, let me go and help that area because that must be something they don't understand or do wrongly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Could talk ages about this part, but also because we had a bit of a delay, let's also like try to continue. I know that there are a lot of retailers also joining this event today that are also either starting their journey or maybe a bit stuck in their journey on RFID. Like, do you have like any best practices? Like, let's start with where to start.
Yeah, but I think back to we didn't really have any major pain points we wanted to solve for the RFID, and I think from the technology point of view, it's quite easy, right? So what we learned down our journey, that both with Moda and Jack and Jones, it's actually more the change management process about how are we going to present this for our stores? What is it that we want to achieve? What is it that we should tell them, and how can they see that when we tell them that they, let's say, have a turnover increase, where should they be able to see that? So I think that the part of preparing your business for RFID journey is actually way more important than actually implementing RFID itself. I understand that that sounds easy because you might need to apply some tags out in the source, which is far away, and there will be a long lead time before these things hit the stores. Yes, that's just time. There's nothing difficult as such in that. But to prepare the stores to understand what is hindering them, why are you doing this, and why should you continue doing this? That's the difficult part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like based on your learnings yeah, from your journey so far, like what kind of pitfalls are there that they should really try to avoid?
I think that a little bit back to what I just said. Important to understand why do we do this? What is the gain for us? And also, what we learned is that you go live, you hit certain levels of inventory accuracy. Everybody are happy. 2, 3 employees shift away, and then you see that falling. So it's kind of like how do we ensure that the new ones, the ones who took over for the old captain or the old store manager, how do we ensure that they will still keep on doing the same? Because people tend to forget down the road.
Yeah,
So
and you
that
do
is
that
the key.
with training, continuous training, or
Continuous training, ensuring back to these RFID captains, when store manager, inventory manager changes away from the shop, okay, have extra focus on this. We know you have a different job too, but have focus on that these guys are onboarded correct, then it works by itself.
yeah, 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 very interesting. And yeah, maybe that also concludes it. Like we're already like we're 40 minutes down now with a bit of a delay. I'm not sure. Is there anything else, like some final remarks, Jacob, from you to
Yeah, but I
anyone
think just
watching?
yeah, I'd just like to add that, so, okay, cool, on-shelf availability, inventory accuracy, omnichannel, that's all great. I think from our end, in Bestseller, we see RFID as a foundation for doing all kind of other cool stuff. So in our industry, we already have companies which utilize the RFID tag as an electronic article surveillance system. We're seeing self-checkouts where back to how easy should the journey for the consumers be by using a self-checkout. Okay, I drop the things on the plate, or I drop it into a small bucket, scanned, go out, no fuss about the alarm detaching. So for us, the journey has started quite ago, but the journey is not ended at all. Right, there's many other cool stuff we can utilize RFID for, which we are working on every day.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe a good call to action would be, because I know that we discussed this yesterday, is that you will be heading to NRF yourself, right? And I know a larger, at least from our team, is going to be there, but also like a larger group of people that are watching. Yeah, so maybe we all see each other in New York then. I
Yeah,
would
sure.
say.
And that's back to right. We haven't done any black magic here, which we are not willing to share. So if you see me in New York, please come by, say hello, and ask your questions. If you have any, I will be happy to answer them.
Cool. Thank you, Jacob, and also thank you to anyone who sticked with us despite the delay. Um, I was as surprised as you guys that I was suddenly the host. I hope you still did get like the answers that you came for this event. We thought it would be more valuable to just go on with the show, as we have Jacob here, and we have all of you guys who plan time to get answers on their inventory journey. So I sure hope that this event was still valuable for you guys. Thank you, Jacob, for your flexibility and yeah, for being a great guest. If you have any questions for Jacob, you can drop them in the chat. If we won't, yeah, so there's room for Q&A now if you want. If you have questions later on, please contact us or Jacob directly. You can find him on LinkedIn. You just go to the event and then he's one of the speakers. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, I wish you all a great